small crowd this morning. I understand there's limited parking out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're having some kind of story time and the lovely, I guess, the traffic too. Still going on, Janet?
Lynn thinks it's gonna be
They
done.
have story time out there with the children.
And is there still construction and roads blocked?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's been fun. So anyway, I wanted to welcome everybody, and I'll go ahead, do we have any visitors today? Everybody's a member, cool. Well, just to let you know, guys, we are up to, I believe Susan said at our board meeting, 135 members. So we have done a really good job of rebuilding the club, and it's been very exciting to see. So thank you all. If you are not, if you're on Facebook, be sure and like Mountain Brook Art Association page, and make sure that your setup allows you to share your artwork. So if you post something and you're on private, we can't share it. So just make sure you like us, and that way we can share it. Oh, we have some more coming in. Come on in, ladies. Sign in and have a seat, and we'll get started. Charlotte is not here. She is taking, I think, Amy Peterson's class, and she didn't want to miss it. So she's our treasurer, and I'll go ahead and give her treasurer's report. Her beginning balance as of September 13th was $10,765.34. We had dues come in, believe it or not. Last month, we still had somebody join. And then we paid out dues, or we received dues and we paid out the demo, but our ending balance as of today is $10,555.34. So if anytime anybody wants to look at the books, you know these books are open. We just hate to bore everybody with every little line item detail. All righty. At this time, I want to recognize Christy Bunn, who is heading up our rebranding team, and to give us a little report on that.
This is a fun project, and something that all of you, I hope, will engage with us when it comes time to vote. We've met twice, and we have a great group of diversely talented ladies. They're all ladies, but we've gotten a lot of different ideas, and we're sifting through the ideas now to kind of pare them down to 4 or 5, and then we will, once we have those, we will let the club vote on those. So I hope that you will all check your emails for those notifications. We want everybody to participate with that. So it's an exciting process. Does anybody have any questions about what we're doing? We've only met twice, and we've got a meeting scheduled for the end of this month. Hope to vote around the 1st of November, so.
Yeah, we would like to
No questions.
go out of this year with a new branding,
Yes,
new logo.
Maybe even a new website.
Maybe.
We're waiting on the logo to do the new website, so. And also, I wanted to say while I'm here, because she was talking about Facebook, but if you're on Instagram, please tag use the @ sign, Mountain Brook Art ASSOC, which is our Instagram username, in your post somewhere. It doesn't have to be in the main body of the text. You can enter down and then just enter that. And that makes it easier for us to find your posts on Instagram. Sometimes Instagram, they can get way down in the feed, and so I don't see them. So if you could do that, that just helps me. Thank you.
How many of y'all use Facebook and Instagram for your art? Yeah, we got a lot of it. Okay. So it's very helpful. Some of you know to do that, and there's some that we have had a few that we've had to do some hand holding on. There's some tricky things to it that you just kind of come across. There's no real big training manual for those 2 items, so we sort of feel our way through it. But we're working with a member now who couldn't understand why she couldn't join There's also an MBAA members page on Facebook. And it's not for the public, it's just for us. So if y'all have not joined that, be sure and look that up, MBAA members.
Right, it's a group rather than a page. Our main page is like a business page, but the members only is for us to ask questions of each other that you really don't want to post publicly. So, and anybody who is a member of that page can post to that page, so.
Yeah, it might be you're working on a project and you just kind of want your fellow artist's opinion about
Yeah.
something. Like, hey, can you tell me what I'm doing wrong?
Where can I get a frame like this? Or where,
Yeah.
you know,
So it's really a great
what kind of
resource.
substrate do I need to use?
But
for
if you're
this?
private, if you've got a lockdown account,
Right, if your
we can't
privacy
find you.
settings, yeah.
and you, and if you're, I found out today, because it's a group or a page, which is it?
Well,
Which one?
The MBAA member
it's a group.
group. Okay, so if you, I think if you're a page or you're a business, you can't join it. Something,
Right, that's right.
yeah.
Correct.
Because I
Yeah.
have a similar thing with our trustful group, yeah.
So,
You can
yeah,
only join the MBAA members with your personal Facebook page,
right,
not with your art page.
right.
And we have to approve you.
And we have to approve you.
But it won't even let you submit it. I mean, yeah. And so it's real tricky.
Right.
But anyway, so yes, if you guys, want to sign up for that, MBAA members, and that's really kind of a cool. And we'd like to use
Christie,
that.
could you please give the initials you said about on Instagram?
Yes.
Could you repeat that?
Yes, I
didn't
will.
have that pen.
The @ sign,
Yes,
and then Mountain Brook Art, all lowercase,
okay.
and then ASSOC.
ASSOC.
'Cause that will-
For association.
Right, because that's all Instagram. That's the link that they will allow. You
Okay,
can't have it any longer than that, so.
thank you.
Sure.
Okay, the next item on our, is actually old business, but, it's big business. So our nominating committee met, and we have a slate of officers or proposed nominations, that is going to go out to you guys for you to vote via this Survey Monkey that we subscribe to, and it's really nice. It goes out to your email. You just click, it makes it super simple, and then Christy can pull the results. I'm just gonna go over who we have nominated, just so you guys kind of know, because several of them are here today, and you might wanna, I'm gonna ask you to stand up if you're here. We have a process of president-elect and then president. So Christy has been our president-elect this year, so she is nominated for president for next year. So
Recruited.
recruited. And we've also recruited for president-elect, which means she'll be president-elect next year, and then the president the following year would be Susie Caffey. You don't know Susie? Vice president membership is Delana Lane. So you come in, Delana. That's who you're gonna see sitting at the table, and Martha is not here today, but she has agreed to do the programs again, so Martha
So
Fulton.
good.
Charlotte has also agreed to do treasurer, again next year. It's really good to do it 2 years. And so
Yes.
that would be Charlotte McDavid, who's been doing it this year. The next would be corresponding secretary, which is what Susie has been doing, which is maintaining our, Gmail account. You wanna email the club, you can do it through our main email, but we need somebody to monitor that. So Jenny Dixon, do you have to stand for us? She's a new member as well. We're really excited to get a couple of new members on the board. Beverly Phillips will be doing our recording secretary again.
Yay.
If you haven't, she's not playing on her iPad, she's taking minutes all the time. I will roll off to past president for next year. And then our senior member at large is just somebody that, we have on the board that has been with the club historically a while, who kind of remembers when the rest of us can't remember, hey, what did we do? Why did we do that? And that would be Lynn Briggs. We don't really like senior as part of the bottle.
Just is what it is.
Again, these are not, voted on positions. These are, appointed positions. So right now we have the following positions. The club staff would be, show chairman is gonna be, Bev Bates and Beverly Phillips, and Beverly again is, our recording secretary, and Bev Bates is not here today, but they will be the show chairman for 2024.
And that is also a non-voting position.
Yes, these are non-voting. Newsletter layout, we've got Lisa Pruitt. Did I see Lisa come in? No. And she will be doing the layout, and the content will be Janet Sanders.
And anybody else who wants to.
And anybody else who wants to help, if you have interest in the newsletter, she has done it quite a while. Janet has been so good to our club and worn so many hats.
Yep.
We are still looking for a tech administrator. That would be somebody who handles the website when this rebranding's done. And if you have an interest in IT and you're good with that kind of stuff, we sure would like to bring you in. And it's a great time to learn because it'll be a brand new site and it'll be kind of fun. So
Anybody?
see me or
No,
Is it a volunteer position or is there any reimbursement for it? I mean, I know some people.
I know, we talked about reimbursement.
It's
you
been
know.
volunteer ever since I've been doing it. I am not paid.
You know, that's a really good question.
It is.
So, it historically has not been. You know, we've just kind of grown. Somebody along the way, when the internet became more popular, said, "Hey, let's do a website."
that
Somebody
was
knew how to do
Gail,
it.
that was Gail back there.
Gail. Oh, we're here. And then, so she put it together, and then somebody said, "Hey, I know how to do that." And they came in and made it a little fancier, and
Rebecca Moody did it for Bob. You know, when
For
Bob
Bob,
was
yeah.
a member of the club, she kind of took the reins because she was
so
doing it.
it has just sort of blossomed. And I think, you know, we have kicked around that idea that it might need to be a paid position at this point.
Well, I know nothing about it, but I know it's a lot of work.
Well, you're getting one started from
Yes,
the
I'm-
ground up.
That's how I know it's a lot of work.
Yes.
Especially for a club our size with, you know, we want to have things on there for our membership that are beneficial to you. So, yeah.
When you think about it, our dues are pretty modest. What are they?
Yeah.
What are
40.
40? I mean, wouldn't we all be willing to pay another $5 or even 10 to help underwrite someone to really take it to the next level? If that is, especially if that's your only internet link, just tell people to go look at your work and you have some things there. Something to think
I
about.
know. it
Yeah,
really
well, the
is.
new website will have a page where you can go in and customize a page for yourself as an artist.
And
So
if you
it
can't
will
do
be.
we'll assist.
Yes, right. We will have help for those who can't do it, who or don't want to or can't do it for yourself.
That's a great idea because, you know, a lot of people are not to that point where they feel like they can have their own, but it gives them a place to send people. So that's a great service.
So
And it's a
because-
little, it's an expensive
yeah,
venture. So
we've got the bare bones website.
yes, we do.
And we have pushed that and filled that and manipulated
Maximized
that as
what we can
much
do
as
there.
we could do.
Yep.
And we're just really limited at this point. So it is time to grow it. And we made the commitment to invest in a better website. So it might be time to really look at that. So this might be an issue for the new board next year. Which I'll still be on. But thank you for bringing that up, Kathy. That's a really good point. I want to talk about some new business right now. In line with growing and changing and those type things, we, as a board, want to do a proposal as an amendment to the bylaws. We want to make a change to the bylaws. And this is basically adding a position. It's adding a voting position to the board, so it's important. But I think I can speak personally from serving on the nominating committee the past 2 years that one of the hardest positions to fill is treasurer. You know, I've thought about this, and I think really the only conclusion I can come is, you know, we're artists. We don't There's a few really gifted people in this room who know money real well and how to do spreadsheets in Excel, but the majority of us think with a different side of our brain. And we just don't have a lot of individuals who are jumping at the chance to be treasurer. When we find somebody, we latch onto them and we just work them to death. It's not a hard job. Well, Charlotte really stepped in, and it's a big job. Plus, it's the money, and it's a little nerve-wracking because it's somebody else's money.
Yes.
But getting back to the amendment, what we feel like we need, we have president-elect position. And for instance, Susie will be that for, if she's voted in, will be that for next year. That allows her to kind of observe, would allow that person to assist the president when needed and kind of
Ask questions.
get your feet wet to prepare for the next year. We would like to do that with treasurer. So we would like to have a treasurer-elect position. We feel like this would help tremendously, rather than an assistant, because treasurer is just kind of a one-person operation. It's really hard to have two people in the books. But having an elect position would allow that person to
Observe
view
and ask
learn
questions.
and get prepared the next year.
And locked in.
Right. Well, yeah. But I guess mentally also prepare yourself. So basically, you will be seeing a Survey Monkey come out. According to our bylaws, we have to announce this and then wait 10 days. Which we're having to wait 10 days. We really wanted to kind of move faster, but in 10 days, look for an email, and it'll be a Survey Monkey that will allow you to vote whether or not you approve or not approve as to move forward with that position. So it's just a technicality, really. I don't know anybody who'd really be opposed to it, but if you have some strong feelings about it, and in the terms of, oh, there's another vote on the board, certainly voice it on the Survey Monkey. So be looking for that, and we need everybody to respond as quickly as you get it, so we can move forward with finding someone. And then they've got to go on this slate that you're also going to get. But I can't put them on there until we know. Right. So the first step is to approve or deny that change to the bylaws. Basically, this treasurer-elect, as I've discussed, would just be basically observing, but they would have a voting position on the board. Just be aware of that. And that's really pretty much it. It's going to be a cush job for a year.
Yeah.
But if you love spreadsheets, I heard somebody say one time, I won't say who she is because she's really busy in the club, but she said, I just love Excel spreadsheets. And I was like,
Who are you?
and I'm like, who are you? And are you? And she's a really good artist. I thought, you're a phenomenon. So, but anyway, so we're really looking to make that change. We've pushed to make some changes this year, and we feel like we've got the membership behind us. We love our new members. We're pushing. We got a couple of them on the board. Then we've had a couple of new ones helping on the logo team. I mean, it's really, really exciting what's happening in the club. So, and at this time, moving on, I want to introduce Kathy Prince, who's going to come up here and talk for just a minute. Tell us about something that she's working on, and then we'll have her program.
I just wanted to thank everybody who participated in the Cahaba Inspired art call that we had in the spring. There are several members in the club who are in the finalists. For those of you who don't know, in Trussville, we partnered with the Cahaba River Society to have an online art call, and we got about 85 or so entries, and we've had a juror who was Dr. Bocher with the Birmingham Museum of Art, and we have 40 finalists. We're getting ready in a couple of weeks to put that display up. It'll be up the entire month of November in Trussville Public Library. And we will be having an artist reception, and some of your fellow Mountain Brook Art Association members are exhibited, so come out and support them in the reception. We'd love to have you.
And we'll share that on Facebook. I'm sure you'll have a post.
Oh yes, we have a website. This really coincided, like we were starting a new art organization at the same time as I had this opportunity with the Cahaba River Society. So it's launching our art council in Trussville, and it's called Arts Trussville. And we have a website at artstrussville.org. And we have a lot of stuff you'll find there. We're going to be doing some art shows, and there'll be some opportunities for people to get involved. So follow what we're doing. Thank
And
you.
you've got a great new logo.
Yes.
We looked at your logo and we were like, oh, that's a good logo.
Yeah, great. I like it.
I'll go ahead and turn it over to Gail and let you introduce our program.
Okie dokie, y'all, 20 years ago, I joined this group, and I was in my 40s. I'm not in my 40s anymore. My body is falling apart, and I'm taking a point of privilege right now, just for just 30 seconds, because I don't have all your email addresses. I wanted to be sure you knew about an unusual art show that I'm in November 11th, a Saturday. There's a lot of good things going on November 11th, but point is it's in caustic, which is melted beeswax and pigment, and it's so varied. I'm just in love with it. I still do everything else too. But it's at Marilyn Wilson's studio behind her home in Vestavia. It's a trip unto itself just to go into her workspace. It's unbelievable. And Sandy Tilt is someone some of you may know. You may know some of the other ladies on the show. If you want to be on my mailing list, please let me know on Instagram, Facebook, something or other. And I just want you to know about that. Okay, these are just some
Ladies
samples.
of the Fire.
Yes, because we have to paint with heat, whether it's a blowtorch or a blowtorch or a heat gun or an embossing gun. We're the ladies of the fire. Just so much, or a bunch of hot women.
Sandy is.
It's up here, just let it, there's no ladies, or you can just, if anybody wants to.
November 11th.
I don't want them to subtract. I'll just turn it off. Now, I have to say that Chris Cruz is one of the most generous people I've ever met, and one of the hardest working artists I've ever met. And I read her brief bio, and it's so rich. But I can't remember everything. But one thing I do love is this serendipitous moment that she said she learned to paint about 20 years ago, 30 on. Anyway, and took a lot of art classes at a little art supply store like an Alabama Art or a Forstall or something. And one day, I think she said she came out to the porch and saw this stuff, or got a note from one of the art store owner that said, I'm having to close my shop, and I just know you can use this stuff. Wouldn't you just love that? Just boxes and boxes. And she said, use your gifts of teaching and painting to pass it on. And boy, isn't that the sweetest story? Doesn't she do that? So I will let us all welcome Chris Cruz. Let me add, but she might not, that all of her paintings are for sale if you're interested. Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome. Hi. Okay, so that is a true story. When I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was living in Florida at the time. I lived in Florida for over 40 years, and there was a little local art shop that had opened up, and the lady was from Germany and had a thick accent. Now listen to this. She asked me to sign in the students because she thought I didn't have an accent. So I said, good. So we traded that for art lessons. And one day she had to move, and sure, I had 3 boxes of supplies, paints, brushes, you name it, on my porch. And she says, it's yours, pay it forward, teach, you have a gift, teach it, don't keep it to yourself. And for 39 something years, that's what I've been doing. So every opportunity that I have to find art supplies and share them with people, like what I have on the counter here, that's what we're gonna talk about. I am sure that everybody will leave with something because there's enough supplies there, I think, for everybody in the room today. When I moved to Alabama 6 years ago, almost 7, on a whim, I love Golden Products, and at that time, they don't do this anymore, they had an artist education program where they trained you to be an artist educator for Golden Paints. And I was talking to my husband about it, and I said, oh my God, can you imagine what that would be like? And he says, apply. And I said, are you crazy? I'm not doing that. Apply. Well, it was a long application. It took me probably a good month to fill out this application. It's not just, I paint, I want to do this. And it was work that I was determined to, I'm gonna just get through. All I wanted was the application process. That was my goal. I didn't even think I would ever even get picked. So 6 months later, I get this beautiful rejection letter that said, oh my God, we love your work, but you were tied with somebody else. And because they applied, we went by the date of application, we chose them. And it's like, so I wrote back and I said, oh my God, that's the most beautiful rejection letter I've ever received. I'm so, and I told my husband, oh my God, look at this. Well, on a Friday, I get a call from them that they train you for a week in New Orleans, all expenses paid, you have to just get there. All your hotel, food, paints are covered. So on a Friday, they said that somebody had gotten sick, and if I wanted to, since I was the first one in line for the next year, if I wanted to come, and I said, what a question. I said to my husband, I'm going to New Orleans on Sunday. And he's like, oh my gosh. So I packed my suitcase, Southwest, I'm going to New Orleans, and I became an artist educator. And it's a very, it's all owned by their employees. They're very giving. After COVID, they stopped, training people because it got too expensive and it's just too complicated now. But I love their products and I love sharing the knowledge that I know about Golden Products. On the table over here, these are very hard to come by, but I was lucky enough to grab some. One thing about Golden Paints before we actually start painting is they have four or five lines of paints. They have the heavy bodies, which is the ones everybody's familiar with. And then they have open, which I'll get into in a minute. And then they have the liquid paints, like the high flows and things like that. Well, these charts for the people that are starting in Golden are all hand painted. This is somebody sat there and painted hundreds of these so that they are accurate.
Wow.
Okay?
That's incredible.
And every one of these colors is exactly the same color no matter what form of Golden Products you buy. So if you buy heavy body, if you buy open, and you want primary magenta, they're all gonna look like that primary magenta. So that's just one of those little things. So when they call your numbers, if you want one, there it is. Another thing that I want to tell you about Golden Paints that I didn't know myself, these little labels are hand painted. And they have a process that I don't really understand, but there's somebody at that little factory and this little machine goes by and they put the paint on them and then they kind of heat set them to something so that you know exactly that this color is what's going to be in here. And if you have a color that you can see little black stripes on it, means that it's more transparent than opaque. But if you look at the back of the tube, which nobody looks at, it tells you how opaque it is, if it's gloss, if it's thick, thin. So if you ever in doubt, what do I need? Look at the back of the label. Okay. Today I'm gonna just talk about textures. Okay, Martha had asked me to do something different, and and I know everybody here can paint, so I'm not gonna teach you anything about painting. I'm just gonna teach you more how to use products. So, some of the items up here, when they train you in Golden, we go through everything. I mean, you're walking into the room and there's nothing but walls of paint and mediums, and you walk in and it's like, oh my God, I died and went to heaven. So, I'm gonna pass these around. I'm gonna divide them in two. But mediums are, they're very versatile, okay? So when you see a medium, like they call it cold pressed ground and absorbing ground, it's like, what is that? The names never made any sense to me, but I play around with my products, okay? So on some of these products, which I have samples here, are used, like if it says watercolor grounds, people think it's to use on watercolor paper, right? Doesn't it make sense? Well, what it is for you to put it on a canvas so that it would work as a watercolor surface. Okay, so you can use it thick, thin, or whatever. And then you have a little bit more thicker kind of ground, which would make it work for watercolors, and you can paint a watercolor on a canvas. Okay?
That's awesome.
And these I'll put at the end of the thing too, so people can win one of those. Okay.
Oh, how nice.
So how do I use Golden heavy body and open? Well, if you are an oil painter and you just do oils and you don't do anything else but oils, if you use open, this works as an oil paint without anything else. You don't just use this straight out and you're an oil painter.
Don't mix it with oil though.
Nothing, no, just straight out of the tube.
So it
Remember,
dries slowly?
It dries really slow, so you can put it on your palette and next week it's still wet. So it's really good, but what I use it for, because I'm not an oil painter, I use it for blending my heavy bodies. So when I'm painting and I want to shade something, I find that with the open I can manipulate my paint a little bit better. And I'm just gonna do it on the canvas to demonstrate, and I'm gonna let you come up and try it yourself if you want to. So, I always believe in everybody getting their hands into things because that's how you learn, right? If you look at something. So I have very little brushes here. I don't use a lot of brushes to paint, even though I have a lot of brushes. Oh, that's the other thing. When I became a Golden Artist Educator, I was contacted by Silver Brushes. And they said, we would like, if you're interested, that you would become a Silver Brush educator. And it's like, oh my God, you're kidding me. So they said, we'll send you some brushes and you can try them out. Okay, I'm not gonna say no to that, right? So they send me all kinds of brushes. The good thing about this is, okay, everybody that usually paints uses Bristolon. It's a very one of the top line paints for oils or whatever. But the people that own silver brushes are not artists, okay? So they don't understand actually how artists think. They only know how to create a brush. So the good thing about artists like us, every month we have a Zoom meeting, is we show them how we use our brushes, whether they were supposed to use them for oil or whatever, we use them for all different things, and caustic, you name it. So they're like really surprised that people are so versatile with these brushes and use them for 50 other things. Okay, so what I have on my palette, and I'm not gonna pick it up because I taped it to the table so we wouldn't have an accident, is on my base colors, I have that orange, burnt umber, this new color, and it's bismuth vanadati yellow, whatever that is. And a lot of their paints come from minerals in the ground. So when you pay $18 for a tube of paint, it's because it's the real deal, it's very pure pigment. So,
I just thought I'd show
good, yeah. Excuse
Yes,
me?
it-
Yeah.
Ben, no wonder you had trouble.
It's not my accent.
That orange.
That
That
It's
doesn't
orange.
show, that
Whoa.
color doesn't show right. Well, it's interesting, the painting looks
Right.
pretty accurate, but anyway, I just wanted to see if that worked.
Yeah. So, and since it's a small group, we can all, paint together. So can everybody see? I'm gonna do one that everybody can see. Let's see, let me put up my finger. Okay, I'll do this one here. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to paint oranges. Thought it was an easy color for fall. Instead of pumpkins, I'm so sick of painting pumpkins. So I take my orange and I don't even wet my brush. I use it straight from the tube, right? And
Oh, can't say.
no, I don't like doing a demo sitting down. So, okay, so I just slapped my,
Turn this off.
the canvas. This is a sample canvas. I think there's like 3 paintings underneath here. And all I did was take light molding paste and just literally slap it on there so that I could have some texture and the colors coming in from underneath, okay? So if you have a painting that you truly hate, just slap some molding paste. So let's say I have these oranges here, right? And I'm just gonna put this here.
So is that the open or the heavy body that you're?
The heavy body is the base color, okay? So I don't even rinse my brush, I just wipe it on my paper towel. And I have a little yellow that this is still regular heavy body, I'm gonna put on the right side here. And notice that I'm not being very careful, I just want color. And obviously, everybody knows that an orange is supposed to be, you know, kind of round, but this is a demo, so pretend.
Looks good to me.
Okay, so there's 2 here, and I'm gonna show you where I'm gonna do this. I still haven't rinsed my brush. I'm gonna come here and just scrub my brush into my paint, right? And take my yellow.
And which, paint or
And
which,
still heavy body.
Heavy body, okay.
We haven't done anything yet with the open. So I just wanna put these here to show you how to shade with the heavy body. Okay, so we know this guy is gonna be darker up here, right? Because he's the one in the back.
for the back, yeah.
So my heavy body open, right? Which is the one that stays open longer, is the one that I'm gonna do my shading with. So I don't even rinse my brush. I don't usually rinse my brush because I want all my colors to kind of be playing around there. So I'm gonna grab a little dash of diaxazine purple. I love that color. Isn't that like and the name diaxazine purple, it makes it look like. So I'll take a little bit of that just on the side of my brush. And let me pull this up so that you can see. I just kind of dab this on here and rub it. And I already have shading without any hard work. Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
And it took me, 5 minutes? So if you just get into the habit of getting away from that water basin and just mixing your paints together, number one, golden paints are not cheap. And every time you stick your brush in the water, you're throwing your money away, right? Because you're rinsing the paint away. So don't rinse your brush. You're not gonna ruin your brushes. This brush is probably 10 years old. I don't even know what brand it is. Oh, Royal Majestic, a cheap Royal Majestic brush. And I'll do something here with the basket. So now I'm gonna do this basket here white. So I'm gonna just do this guy here.
Did you wet your surface before you painted it?
No.
I thought you wiped it. I wasn't sure if it was with a wrapper.
You mean this?
Yeah, you didn't just wipe, you just were showing us. Okay, sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, you know. So I'm
Questions
going.
are allowed.
Oh, good.
Huh?
I said questions are allowed.
Yes, yeah, if you have any questions, I can't see you because I'm looking at my canvas, but just say Chris and I'll stop.
How many of us can paint upside down? like
Not
that?
me. No. No chance.
Yeah.
Okay. So, now I got white on my brush, so I'm gonna just wipe it on my paper towel. And I'm going to take a little bit of that dioxazine purple again. And a little tad of that orange, because that's the color that we were painting, right? And I'm gonna pick my brush, everybody can see this bottom? Yes. Okay, so I'm just gonna take some of that color here, and I'm just gonna come around, put a little lip on this. And I've given it a shade without rinsing my brush, throwing my paint down the drain. And I can keep adding color without cleaning my brush. If I wanna put a little shade on the bottom of it, a little shadow, I'm just gonna come here and put my color down. Now, the one thing you gotta remember though is that if you use open, this stuff is gonna stay wet for a while. So don't think, oh, because I mixed it with the heavy body, it's gonna not be open anymore. No, it stays open. So this will probably be wet for a couple of days.
Okay.
And this, because I have the dark in here, will stay wet a couple of days. So if I wanted to now make this a little darker in here, I'm gonna load my brush again with my original colors and pick up my purple again, and then just come here and just add some color. Wipe it and then just highlight. But by mixing the paints, if you're an acrylic painter, you almost become an oil painter, because this is an oil painter's paint. And originally I started out as an oil painter until I couldn't take the fumes anymore. And it's like, this is not for me. So when I learned how to paint acrylics, it was like, I just can't paint one thing. I just have to play around with stuff. So, you know, you can just keep going. I haven't rinsed my brush. And what I like about doing this is that no matter what color they come out, they're all the same colors that you've painted to begin with. So you're not really having to do one orange, then you can put the little, you know, the little dimple thing on it after. But if the blue shows through, who cares? You know?
Can I just say that she's so smart to use that blue underpainting because it makes the orange
Yeah,
pop.
it does.
It's the same thing with the landscape, to do a warm red or orange underpainting and the greens will pop.
Right, right. And one of the things, when you're painting a light, let's say like an orange, I always like to paint another color underneath it, or a pear, or a bird even, because the only color that you're really gonna see is the color on top. And to put 3 or 4 layers of orange to get an orange to look like an orange, it looks flat. It just kind of doesn't work. So here, it looks like I've worked on this for hours. And I only, you know, I only went around and.
So Chris, you use the heavy body for your underpainting because it dries real quick. And then
Correct.
when you go back, you're mixing the two just because you have it on your brush,
Mhm.
and that adding that open extends the blendability of it.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Yes, yes.
Just
So what
making sure.
happens is, opens are a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, and I was very frugal. Remember how I got 3 boxes of paints when I started out? I had no money. So I kept that through my career, learning how to save money on what I do. So the regular white label heavy bodies are cheaper. So I use that to put in my color, right? So I just pick out any, like I have my orange and it's in my brush. So I go around, put my orange, I'll add some yellow. I haven't rinsed my brush or anything like that. And these are all heavy body. Now I'm gonna put a little shade in here, so I don't rinse my brush, I just wipe it on my paper towel and side load a little bit of that purple. And then it blends right into my painting, and I don't have to work that hard. And one of the things is not to worry so much about, sometimes we overpaint. We keep going at it and going at it. And doing this for a long time, a lot of times people think that if you paint fast, you're not a real artist, right? But look at Bob Ross. He would do a beautiful painting in half an hour because he knew when to stop. And as artists, we want to be perfect, and nobody has ever made a perfect painting. I haven't been to a museum yet with all these beautiful paintings that are declared the perfect painting in the world, right? So we're always learning, and we always learn about ourselves. And depending on what mood I'm in is what I paint. So when I moved to Alabama, I have only one bedroom where I can do my work. Where in Florida, I had a whole Florida room. And so I had to reinvent what I wanted to do. So I've always taught classes, so I've been teaching classes around town, but my purpose is to give my art away. So a lot of times I have 3 or 4 samples of the same thing. I mean, how many samples of pumpkins and birds can I have? So I have a Rubbermaid container in my closet because I don't have any room. And those of you that have been to my house know I have a very small house, bedroom. So I have them in there, and then when I see that somebody needs a little encouraging or whatever, I just put it in a shopping bag and I'll say, I was thinking of you today and I know you like orange, whether they like orange or not, they don't know that. And they look at it like, oh my God, you were thinking of me. You have no idea how far that goes. And I look at it as, if I do a little 6x6, how much money am I gonna sell that for? I mean, I can go out to dinner and spend more money than that. And I have 3 of them. So what am I gonna do with them? So if you can give them away, and my little 6x6s started by accident. When I was in Florida, I had a huge patio and I could paint big paintings, right? So as a thank you gift, I would paint a little 6x6 and give it to the person that bought my art and say, thank you so much for supporting me. This is a little gift for you. And a lot of these people were corporate people. So for the Christmas holidays, it started with, oh, I love these little things for my employees. Can you paint 10 of them, 20? And it's like, so it became its own little monster. So be careful what you come up with, okay? So now I just want to give them away because, you know, people still want to order 5, 6, and I still get orders from Florida every year. And I ship them to Florida for those people that have been loyal forever and ever and ever. And I ship them to Florida, 6x6s, so that it's the gift that keeps going and going and going. And my thoughts are, as artists, if we all share what we know, we can't take it with us, right? And no matter what I share with you, you're gonna interpret it a little bit different than the way I interpret it, right? So, and I always learn from my students, always. So they're the ones who encourage me to keep doing, you know. And sometimes people will say, oh my God, another little group that you painted with? And these seniors that I'm teaching around town, when you hear their stories and to why they're there, that may be the highlight of their month.
And yours.
Mm-hmm. And they are so proud of those paintings. And those of you who have seen them on Facebook, I mean, I am amazed of what these people can create in 2 hours. That's all they are, 2-hour little workshops, because I have no room for anything in my house. I just have one cabinet with 6x6s and 8x10s. That's it. I can't make it too complicated. And I leave this group and I take a picture and it's like, oh my God, this lady never painted before, or this one didn't know she could do this. And they're so proud to hang it on their house, right? So as artists, we need to kind of like bring ourselves a little bit to, you know, off that little cloud we are sometimes, and because we do, you know, we kind of go up there like, oh, look what I did, and, you know, and it doesn't, none of this pays our bills. I don't know anybody in this room, and if you do, let me know, because I would like to ask you a few questions. Nobody makes a living off of art. Nobody pays their car insurance and their health insurance and their mortgage with art. And I learned that a long time ago. In order to do that, you would have to be selling a good, I don't know, $5,000, $10,000 worth of art a month. And who wants to do that? Then there's no fun in it. So whether we do this professionally or not, it's not a living. So share it with other people, and wipe your brush. Any questions?
Love it.
Is Mara Jambor still here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have her to thank for bringing Chris to Mountain Brook Art Association.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
That is true. She did tell me about this, and it's like, oh, I love those ladies. They're so nice, and men. So, yeah, so there you have it. So does anybody want to come up and try this? Trust me. Listen up. There's some watercolor grounds up here that we're gonna give away. And Janet asked me, can you paint with watercolors over the watercolor grounds? Yes. You can put this, I'll pass this around. This has watercolor grounds underneath the painting. So what I did is I took my watercolor grounds, just scoop a little bit on it and just rubbed it with a sponge, let it dry, and then I used watercolors for the top.
Amazing.
Okay? This one, that's okay. This one I got a little creative, and I didn't know what was gonna be, so I took watercolor grounds, light watercolor grounds, and the, what's the third one?
I want this one.
What is it? Cold press ground. And I just slapped it on there, and then it gave me a lot more texture, and
You put all three of them
all
on
three of them on there.
Mara,
Yes. Good question. She asked me if I sealed my watercolor one after I did it, and I did matte spray a couple of times and let it matte spray Krylon. That you and I'll have more information as it comes available. June of next year, there's gonna be an art expo in Chattanooga, which is only 2 hours from here.
Fun city.
And
Road trip.
so what is the art expo? They have 50 teachers giving workshops at this one location, okay, through the week. There's gonna be vendors, listen up, there's gonna be vendors selling brushes, paints, surfaces, new stuff that you've never seen before, gel plates, you name it. And this is the first time that they're doing it in Tennessee, so I'm gonna brag a little bit a lot. When I heard about it, they had put on, somehow I got an email, I guess through Golden and all this stuff, if I wanted to submit something to teach. And I said, heck yeah. So I didn't know what they were looking for, whatever, so I sat down, and it could be something that had never been taught before at a workshop. So there was no limit as to how many you could submit. So I submitted 7, okay? So I said to Tony, I said, my husband, I said, God, I just want one. Let them pick just one. I just want. And he goes, what's the big deal about one? And I said, all those people that are coming to teach are from all over the country, and they've been teaching forever. These are well-known names. Nobody knows Chris Cruz. I said, if they get one painting, one class, I'll be in. So they were gonna announce the winners on a Sunday. So Sunday, I open up my email, bing, congratulations, you have been picked, right? So I run out of the room, oh my God, they picked me, and he says, which one? I said, I don't know, I didn't read past that. I just saw you were picked, I couldn't read. So he comes in, he says, well, let's read the email. Out of the 7, they picked 4.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God. So in June of 24, I'll be amongst the 50 that will be teaching there the whole week. And it's just a huge accomplishment. It's gonna be June 24th through the 28th of next year. What am I teaching? Is what you asked?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm teaching, what am I teaching? I'm teaching. I'm teaching when I went to Scotland this year. You know those bulls with all the long hair? I'm teaching one of those. I'm teaching a giraffe with its tongue sticking out.
They're the healing coos.
Yes, and I'm teaching. They asked for beginner classes, so I did a toucan on paper and then put it on canvas for beginners. And then the 4th one, I don't even remember what it is, but no, I don't remember. There's 4. So I have them all lined up and, so keep that in mind because as more information comes around, Silva's gonna give me like a $5 certificate to hand out to people if they wanna buy silver brushes. And they sell them at a discount price. So even if at Jerry's, you can buy this brush for like $10, they'll have it for $8. So just, keep getting more information as I go, but you can sign up now. It's called Art Expo 2024.
Yeah.
And it's on Facebook.
Yeah.
So you see, you can keep painting as I talk and just, add leaves and you can shade. Now I have the dark green is the open. So it's becoming a painting, so I'll shut up and then you can pull the numbers.
MJ Dobbins?
MJ, you,
Would you tell them about jelly plates in the open? Have you ever done that? Use the open.
Yeah, I'd like to know about it.
Because that's.
jelly plates?
I did a workship I took a workshop with the open acrylics from Golden being our ink on the jelly plate thing.
You
And I
can
just
use
loved it.
regular
Regular ink?
and regular heavy body. You can use high flow. You can use anything, you can.
Well, some of them dry faster, so the open was
Right.
what was so nice about
But
it.
you're not gonna leave them on there for that long.
That's right. Well,
So
yes,
why
you can.
waste?
Well, tell them about jelly plates.
Okay, jelly plates. Jelly plates is like a little gummy Jello looking plate. It's plastic, okay, and it's very flexible. As a matter of fact, I don't know if a lot of you know that Pam from Alabama Art is retiring in December. So yeah, so she asked me to do a jelly plate class probably in November, and we're gonna do a live demo with marbleizing paper. So after I do the jelly class in the morning, in the afternoon, we're gonna have some marbleizing classes. So I'll introduce those projects for her. But those little plates, what you can do, which is awesome, you put a couple of drops of paint on this little jelly thing, and then you take a brayer, right, and you just scoop it around, and then you take a piece of paper. And I use usually stencils or markings of any kind. It could be just pieces of paper. And you lay your paper on it. And then when you pick your paper up, it has the design